Hey, nobodies! It's me, Nobody Claus, here with my little elf, Mr. Nobody here, and today I'm gonna be talking about something a little bit different. Normally, I don't make videos about things like this, but I felt like I should talk about this because this is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Because it was announced yesterday that E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, is done. They're over. They're not going to have any more E3s. They haven't had a real E3 since like 2019. Then the pandemic happened and whatnot, and they've been trying to start another one for the last couple of years, but they just couldn't find the support. So now they're just not going to do it anymore. And it's sad because E3 was a pretty big part of my life when I was a teenager. Now, if you don't know what E3 is, E3 was this big trade show that happened one weekend a year, usually like late May, early June. And it was basically where all of the big video game companies would get together and just make a whole bunch of big announcements and reveals and show game trailers and, reveal new games, reveal new consoles. Pretty much any time, any big news happened from the video game industry, or anytime, a new game system was revealed or a big new video game was revealed, it was usually done at E3. And a lot of people consider E3 to be like a second Christmas for gamers. Or, a lot of people have compared E3 to like the Super Bowl of the video game industry. So it was a pretty big event, especially in the early 2000s. As a teenager back then, seeing E3 and all the footage online was just really cool. Now, most people who have fond memories of E3 like me never actually went to E3 in person because it was, for the most part, an industry-only event. I mean, they opened it to the public there, every now and then. I think the last few years it was open to the public, but for the most part, it was industry only. So for people like me who never actually went there physically in person, the excitement of E3 was just, watching all of the cool footage online or on G4, seeing all the trailers and the reveals, watching the big press conferences, even though I never went to E3 physically, and a lot of people didn't, just watching all of the reveals and stuff at home, it was just so much fun. And, communicating with people on different message boards and whatnot. I just had a lot of fun during those days, and a lot of people my age, have a lot of fond memories of, E3 time, because it was basically just like a big holiday for us gamers. Now, the E3 that sticks out for me personally, in my mind the most, was E3 2004. And, at the time, I was 15, about to turn 16, and I was a bit of a Nintendo fanboy. I enjoy all the consoles and stuff. I enjoy Xbox and PlayStation, but I've always been more of a Nintendo guy. Now, on E3 2003, Sony announced that they were going to release a new handheld game system called the PlayStation Portable, or the PSP. And people were kind of worried for Nintendo because, Nintendo, they were really kicking ass with the Game Boy. And, they were afraid that, Sony was going to come in and just kick the Game Boy's ass. So Nintendo announced a little later that they were going to have a new handheld console of their own called the Nintendo DS. And they were going to reveal more at E3 2004. And we knew nothing about the Nintendo DS other than it was a handheld system that had two screens. So people online were all speculating and stuff, going on message boards. I remember going on G4 message boards and, kind of speculating with people what it would be like. There were all these rumors, like maybe it would have a touch screen or, this, that. And some people thought it would just be a dumb gimmick. And but none of us really knew. We were all just kind of trying to figure this out. So E3 2004 happens. Nintendo has their big press conference. And the E3 2000 press conference really started off with a bang because it was hosted by this guy named Reggie Fils-Aime, who he was the president of Nintendo of America, although I don't think he held that position at the time. I think he was just like some executive. But he hosted Nintendo's E3 2004 press conference. Right off the bat, he gets on stage and he says, "My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names. And we're about making games." Now, Reggie, he was like this really great big football player looking dude. So just having like this big intimidating guy go on a Nintendo press conference and say he's going to kick ass, that was pretty cool. And just from that, he became like this big meme online. And this was back when memes, before they became known as memes. There were all these images and stuff, what Reggie and all these crazy situations. It was pretty hilarious to see at the time. And, then later on in the conference, they revealed the DS, and my head just exploded. It literally exploded. They had to surgically put it back together because I just thought the Nintendo DS was the coolest thing ever. It had a touch screen, 2 screens, Wi-Fi enabled, and this was before like iPhones and stuff, made this all like casual and normal. Nintendo did all that stuff first. And seeing all that in 2004 in a handheld video game system, it just blew my mind. I was so psyched for the Nintendo DS. And I went to GameStop a few weeks later, and I bought the E3 DVDs because they used to sell the E3 DVDs at GameStop. And I just watched the Nintendo conference over and over again every day because I was so psyched for the Nintendo DS. And, and Reggie Fils-Aime, that guy was like my hero. He was very blunt and no nonsense. I just enjoyed seeing that come out of like a video game company executive. But yeah, E3 2004 with the Nintendo DS, that was the one that stuck out in my mind. But, I always enjoyed seeing, all the big gaming news that came out at E3. And even though I'm not nearly as big of a gamer as I was like 10, 20 years ago, I still enjoyed watching, all the E3 coverage and watching the press conferences and seeing all the news and whatnot. It was still pretty cool to see that it was still going on. And it's just sad that it's over because, video gamers, we kind of lost our Superbowl. We kind of lost our own little personal Christmas. There's not that one big event that happens every year where, you get all this information. It's just, you got like, the Game Awards and, Nintendo Direct and like the PlayStation, whatever they do. But, there's not that one big event where everything just comes out. And it's just not the same. And it's just too bad that the fat, nerdy 15-year-old kids like I was of today, they don't have that one big event that they could just sit home and, play hooky from school and absorb all of this gaming news. And, it's the end of an era. Anyway, that's all I got to say in this video, and I will see all you nobodies later. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever you celebrate.